Here we are, Sam. The inaugural four-down football video, history in the making. This is our Plymouth Rock of sorts. Are you excited?
I am. I'm really thrilled to do this. Fudge, our beautiful cameraman over there, approached me about this idea not too long ago. I thought it was a great opportunity for us to do something that we haven't really done before. Stretch out into a medium that we haven't really explored. I'm really excited to do this. We hope you guys are going to enjoy this. We're going to be covering New Year's Six Bowls. It's really kind of an origin story for us in that last year our first podcasts were centered around bowl season, and we did the New Year's Six and SEC bowl game. So it's kind of fitting that we're starting a new path in the journey of 4 down, so to speak, with the New Year's Six yet again. We're going to be kicking it off today with covering the first New Year's Six game, the Peach Bowl, between the Houston Cougars and Florida State Seminoles.
So we're going to start out here, Florida State, Houston. Obviously coming in, two biggest players in this game, Dalvin Cook and Greg Ward Jr. Both are explosive players, not necessarily a power back in Dalvin Cook, and obviously Greg Ward, not really a power runner either. Do you think Greg Ward finds any space against the Seminole defense?
I do. Greg Ward comes in this game. He has over 1,000 yards rushing on the season. Clearly embodies what the term dual threat tends to mean. He can run it, he can throw it. Florida State has a good defense, lots of athleticism, but they have shown to be a little bit vulnerable to the running attack, especially between the tackles. They haven't stopped a lot of runs, at the line of scrimmage in the backfield this year. Mm-hmm. And so based on that, I think with Greg Ward's athleticism and elusiveness, and the fact that Florida State, while having a good defense, doesn't really stuff the run, so to speak, I think he can find some lanes and get through it and make some plays with his legs.
Are you not a little bit concerned that Houston, coming into this game, the talent disadvantage is definitely going to be in play? I mean, they don't have the same quality of players that Florida State does.
Certainly I am. Obviously that matters.
Certainly.
I'm not going to pretend that it doesn't.
That's definitely going to matter.
But sometimes, especially in bowl games and neutral games, a team with inferior talent that either has one player that can elevate the whole team, mm-hmm. or has a superior scheme, which I'm not saying that Houston will by any means, but I'm saying it could, can overcome that talent disparity and still win in a one-game scenario. I mean, if Houston had to play Florida State in a 7-game series, I definitely think Florida State would probably win 4 times. But in one game, I think Greg Ward Jr. is good enough that Houston could get it done.
Interesting. Well, on that note, and kind of on that topic, let's take a look first at what the game will look like when Houston has the ball. Okay, Sam, I'll let you lead off on this since you were kind of on a roll there a little bit. So Houston has the ball. What should we look for?
I mean, like we've been talking about, everything flows through Greg Ward. He runs the ball. He throws the ball, obviously, as the quarterback. Houston's really going to let him do the grunt work, so to speak. Kenneth Farrow at running back offers a little bit of a two-way. He has about 200 receiving yards, if I'm not mistaken, and close to 1,000 yards rushing. So he will help Greg Ward out. He'll make it so it doesn't have to be a quarterback carrying the ball 30 times. But I think really what you're going to see is everything flows through Greg Ward, and the keys are going to trying to be to get Florida State's defense, who is more talented than Houston, out of position.
Yeah.
Lots of read options, lots of misdirections. If you can get them out of position where they are having to change direction, it's a lot harder for a defensive player to change direction than an offensive player.
One of the things that I look at in this game is you obviously see a team like Houston coming in with obviously so much more to play for. This is a big stage game for them. Not really used to this stage, obviously. And for FSU, how bad do they want to be there? Because that's something that's really going to matter. Because I think you look at bowl games, and they're definitely kind of difficult thing to predict. And one of the things that does matter is, do you want to be there? Are you excited about being there? And I think Houston definitely will be. And Florida State's going to have to match that enthusiasm and that passion early in the game. But I would be a little bit worried with Greg Ward being a dual-threat quarterback who primarily runs the ball. You know, are they going to be able to let him carry the ball 20, 25 times against that defense? And are the other playmakers on the team, are they going to get open? Are they going to get separation and make plays for them against a defense that is certainly more physically gifted and certainly has more depth? And that's where I'm a little bit hesitant. I think Ward will probably run for 90 yards or so. But the other playmakers on the team, that's who's got to step up for Houston if they want to score points against a Florida State defense that did play better down the stretch, and a team that was very young this year. And I guess I just have this creeping feeling that Houston is going to have a really difficult time against the FSU defense.
And I think that's certainly a reasonable conclusion, and I think that's certainly possible. Mm-hmm. I just tend to think that, you know, Houston, I mean, they're 12-1 for a reason. They beat Louisville earlier in the year, albeit on I think it was a missed last-second field goal opportunity by Louisville to end the game, 1-3. But still, they've beaten Power 5 teams. They've shown that they can compete with the big boys, so to speak. And I tend to think that Houston will be able to move the ball and score at least a little bit. One player to watch, I think, on the other side of the ball for Florida State on defense is Jalen Ramsey, who's a very talented guy, was very highly recruited, has no interceptions this year despite all of the hype. And that doesn't mean he hasn't been good. He has 10 pass breakups. Obviously, he makes plays on both sides of the ball and in the return game. But I look for him to try to get that first pick of the year, and if he can, I think that could swing the game for Florida State. Mm-hmm. If he can, get to Greg Ward and get a pick.
And see, I'm on the opposite side of that. I don't think Florida State has to do anything out of the ordinary to swing the game their way. I mean, I view it as they're better, and if they just do what they usually do, they're going to win. I think, on the other hand, I think Houston, you've got to find a way to make big plays in this game in order to keep yourself in it and to give you that spark. Because I think if they had to grind the pace out and go punch for punch with Florida State, I think it's pretty unlikely that they'd be able to get the job done given their talent disadvantage.